Australia. Hundreds of angry demonstrators against an anti-Islamic film have swept onto Sydney streets. Scuffles broke out as riot police with capsicum spray moved in to break up the protest. Both police and protesters were injured, and a tense standoff continued for several hours. The ABC's Rebecca Barrett was there.
It was meant to be a peaceful protest. But when the crowd reached the US consulate, things turned ugly. Tempers were high and tensions flared. Police used capsicum spray to keep the crowd at bay. The protesters moved through afternoon shoppers in the CBD with a message.
You cannot simply, spread the message of hate and say that, this is the freedom of expression.
And this kind of movement hurts the Muslims. So this is not right.
Police dogs and riot squad were at the ready as the demonstrators moved into Hyde Park. It was then that trouble broke out. One man was led away by police, another was pinned to the ground by officers and a dog. He was then dragged away, bleeding and with ripped clothes. Many were trying to make sense of what was happening.
I was helping the police, and they just, they were provoking everybody on the street.
They assaulted our sisters, put them to the ground, and pepper sprayed them.
We don't want to come here with violence. But I guess it's a small group minority who come here and give us a bad name for everyone. We want to come here and show the manners that our Prophet would have if he was here today, how we would deal with the situation. It's not like this.
There was a call for calm and a call to prayer. Those gathered vowed not to leave until they knew the condition of their injured friends.
There's hundreds of people just standing here now in Hyde Park. No one seems to be going anywhere, and the police are forming a perimeter behind me.
As the afternoon dragged on, police continued to negotiate with several community members to disperse the crowd.
Unfortunately, as I mentioned, there doesn't appear to be any spokesperson, any particular control or coordination of this group. I have spoken to a number of gentlemen who really haven't been able to enunciate any particular message.
Police say they've made 8 arrests and that 6 officers were injured. ABC News, Sydney.
Well, Rebecca Barrett was there, as we saw, with that protest this afternoon, and she joins me now in the studio. Rebecca, you were there in the thick of it. Just how did the protest that started off peacefully, how did it get out of control?
Richard, it's actually quite unclear. We weren't there at the beginning, so we know it started at Town Hall and they were moving around to Martin Place. But as you saw in the package out the front of the US consulate, something has gone wrong. I think tempers flared and tensions were high anyway. The police were there. We saw them out in force. There were huge numbers of police. There were dogs. There were mounted police. There were riot squad. It was quite a scene and quite a sight. So there's no way of actually knowing what actually happened to trigger the scuffles, but obviously there was quite a strong reaction from the police. Capsicum spray was used, and as you can see in the package, there were people injured, and there were scuffles breaking out all through the protest. Initially there were people who wouldn't talk to us, so when I was trying to ask people, why are you here, why are you protesting, people were deliberately being pushed away from the cameras because they didn't want to be involved or talk to the media. So it was hard initially to figure out what was going on, and then as you saw, we did get some people to speak to us. So all in all, quite a strange afternoon, and quite a lot of people in the community who were really quite shocked by what went on.
But there was also a lot of people who were there for the initial protest who were just as shocked that this violence happened, and say that this isn't part of their religion, this isn't what they stand for.
That's exactly right. There was a man that you saw in a package who was actually quite upset because a lot of people there this afternoon were there. Obviously, the point of the protest seemed to be for people to voice their, I guess, disgust and their opposition to this US film depicting and mocking Muhammad. So there were very articulate people there who were saying that this is insulting and this movie has hurt Muslims and it shouldn't have been shown.